have to decide who I am. Or try to find it, 'cause I never last. All of the lies that just don't know the times they are changing. All our society pushing to find who I am. So hard to
Hey everybody, Bowtie Guitar Guy back at it with another alternative guitar part that doesn't actually exist on the MP3. As we often do on this channel, there are songs that we play at my church that have a lot of synthesizers in them, but we have a lot of electric guitars. So what I'm about to demonstrate is an alternate part that is based a little bit on the bass guitar, based a little bit on one of the synthesizers, just to give your other electric guitar players something to play besides just straight chords. And at the very end, I'll demonstrate another alternative part that you could use in case you do have a synthesizer that's playing that line and you still need something to do as the second electric guitar. Alright, without further ado, here we go. Okay, let's talk about tone. For this song, we're going to be using medium gain overdrive, or medium to high gain. I'm actually stacking two overdrives. We're going to have a reverb and a delay. So here's my clean tone in the bridge pickup. Here's my medium high gain overdrive. And you can hear that is pretty juicy. The delay is a basic analog delay. It's set to quarter notes to the tempo of the song. It's a little bit on the darker side. And it's pretty subtle, just 2 or 3 repeats. Relatively low mix. It's really just there to add depth and length to our notes. And the same is true of the reverb, which is just a basic room or spring reverb. A little bit of a decay time on it. I actually have my mix level pretty high up. And again, same thing, just adding some depth and some trail to our notes. The effects are basically the same throughout the entire song except for the first part of, I think, verse 2, where I turn off my delay and reverb and just leave my drives on. The drives stay on the entire time. Okay, now let's go through the sections of the song. For where we first come in after the first chorus, all the effects are on, overdrive, reverb, and delay. And we're up here on the 21st fret. And what we're going to do is a little pull-off measure from the 21st to the 19th, and then slide down to the 16th. And then in all, the part goes like this. So again, I'm going to take off some of the effects here. Starting on the 21st fret on the B string, sliding down to the 16th fret. And that second part of that is 19th, pulling off to the 16th fret on the B string, going immediately to the 18th fret on the G string, back to the 16th fret on the B string, and then down to the 18th fret on the D string. And then it repeats the pull off from the 21st to the 19th, sliding down to the 16th. And that's that section. The next section is going to be power chords coming in towards the end of the first line of verse 2. Again, this part I've turned off my delay and reverb during the dead space that happens between the instrumental and the verse, because you really want this to be pretty dry to keep it tight. And it's just power chords starting on a G sharp, down to an E, and then it goes up to a B, up to an E flat, and then back down to that G sharp. So that part's pretty easy. I also actually switch up to my neck pickup on that section, so it's a little bit darker. If you're not familiar with power chords, it's the same shape throughout. So your G sharp power chord would be index finger on G sharp on the E string, and then you're going to go up to what is an E flat on the A string, and then same thing, put your pinky on the D string to copy the G sharp. Fret number wise, that would be 4, 6, 6 on the E, A, and D strings. And that shape just moves up and down. When you play the E minor, you just play the open E string. Okay. Following up that part to finish out the verse, still have my overdrives on. We're going to play the same notes, but we're just going to use our index finger. We're just going to play single notes instead of the entire power chord. And I'm only going to pick one note and then slide the rest of the way through. And what I'm doing there is when I hit the first note, I switch back up to the bridge pickup, and I'm turning back on my delay and reverb. And you gotta be careful when you pull off onto that E. I kind of just let go of the note. With enough overdrive, the guitar has enough sustain that I don't really have to do a major pull off. I can just kind of let go of the string and the E will ring out. Alright, next is the chorus section of the song. And we're actually playing the same, almost the exact same series of notes that we are in the verse. But now we're going to do it with octave chords. Now you can technically play this with the same positions that you played the verse. For some reason I like to switch over to just going down a set of strings and playing my B chord on the 2nd and 4th frets of my A and G strings. And if you're not familiar with octave chords, it's like a power chord, but we're going to get rid of our ring finger, and we're going to use our index finger to mute the back of the string behind us. So in this case, it's the D string. So when I strum, I'm just getting my octave B, which would be, like I said, 2nd fret, 4th fret on the A and G strings, muting the D string in the middle. So with my overdrive, we're going to hold that shape, slide up to an E flat, and then go down to our G sharp, still doing an octave chord, but now we're on the E and D strings, muting the A string. When I slide down to my E, I got the open E string. I'm actually going to use my ring finger to mute the A string. It's a little subtle technique. It's not completely necessary to this riff, but it helps. So that's... And the second time we're going to start on the E minor, this time full power chords. And that's just G sharp, F sharp. And that's the chorus. For the rest of the song, we're just playing the riff we played in the beginning instrumental from the instrumental following chorus 2 all the way through the last chorus, which that part we already know. So as I said earlier, these parts are designed if you have an excessive amount of electric guitars in your band and not enough pianos and keyboards, and no one is playing that lead line we demonstrated earlier. But if you have someone doing that already on a piano or a synthesizer, or you just have an extra electric guitar, let's say you have 3 electric guitars, during the instrumentals and the last chorus, you could also mimic what the bass guitar is technically doing. And I'll demonstrate that part right here. Okay, so this part is a lot like what we normally did on the chorus before. Except we're moving around a little bit more using octave chords. So the tricky part with this is to start on your B and work your way up to the E flat, but we're going to try to catch the C sharp minor right in the middle. So in all, that's B. So that was a little sloppy, but if you slide up, you kind of pause on the C sharp on your way up. Down to the F sharp. And then down to the E. And you just repeat that part over and over again with an octave chord. And you've got it. For this part, I recommend turning off a reverb, maybe keeping on a delay. You need it pretty tight, otherwise with all that sliding, it starts to get sloppy and muddy. I also recommend, if you have it, you can use a fuzz distortion here, because it's kind of mimicking what sounds like a synth bass, which is all fuzzy and razor bass sounding. So that would sound like this. You know, if you're into something a little bit heavier, a little bit grittier. Alright, those are the parts for the optional Guitar 2, Hillsong Young and Free. Enjoy!